Okay, back to business with PCM 25. So far this season, our team has been so incredibly successful to the point that I almost can't believe it. We literally won Milano-San Remo. And our last 5 victories are all World Tour wins. Which is why we're doing so well in the World Tour ranking, in 2nd place, behind UAE. And of course today, I want to keep on scoring in the classics, starting off with Dwars Vlaanderen. When it comes to the parcours, a pretty easy classic, but the start list is the opposite. Mes Pedersen, Mathieu van der Poel, Tadej Pogacar, Wout van Aert, Jasper Philipsen. What a list! That said, for the first time in the classics, we are bringing the Trident. Samuel Watson, Lukas Kubiš, and also Matthias Kopecky. I think I'd be happy with a top 10, but I want to go for a top 5. Ouch, starting off with a -1 on Samuel Watson, but a +1 on Kopecky, so 77 cobble stat. That's pretty okay. A pretty small breakaway for a classic. Oliver Naassen, Isidore, Max Walker, and Gashin Yar. Only 4 riders, so the break is definitely not winning. On the first cobble sector of the day, I think the Holloweg, but this ain't gonna do anything, so we're waiting for this hill zone. And that zone is about to start with the Berchtenhout to climb, then the Canarieberg afterwards. I'm pretty scared of the Canarieberg, but I don't think Berchtenhout will do much in PCM. Okay, yeah, nothing's happening on this sector. And now the Canarieberg, but I'm actually not doing anything in this peloton. I want a passive race because if I try to attack, I won't drop Jasper Philipsen, so what's the point in even trying? I might as well just sprint against him with a full team at the end. Like, there are some splits in the peloton in this hill zone, but it's like 80 riders left in the peloton, so I think after this hill zone, it will still be a large group. Oh snap, solo attack by Mathieu van der Poel in the peloton, and we've got 2 chasers, that is Vermeersch and Benoot, and lots of riders trying to close that down. I'm not doing anything. I'm chilling in this peloton group, and other people can solve this problem. Mathieu van der Poel has been caught, but now Wout van Aert is attacking, so we keep on getting new attacks. And with 30 kilometers to go, the hills are basically behind us, so I've got a full team to try and control the peloton for a versatile sprint. Anyway, 15k to go, all the attacks have been caught at the moment, and I've got my train up and running, but I'm not exactly in a luxury situation when it comes to my energy. Kopecky's looking good, but the rest of my team is kind of not. There goes Mathieu van der Poel again, response by Van Aert, and Pogacar is closing it down, but we've got Watson setting up a train and hopefully reeling them in, and that looks to be working. Anyway, last cobble sector incoming. Stefan Kung with a gap. Omerzel basically done for. Gotta get myself on 99 with Kubiš. I gotta position myself here with Kopecky for the final sprint pretty soon, but I gotta pause it. That is Pogacar. Can I get to the wheel of Pogacar? Energy gel on Kopecky, way too late. That's an attack. That's an attack that stops. So let's get in the wheel of Van Aert right now. Philipsen is still here. We've got... Ooh, Kubiš needs to be ready. Pogacar attacking. Pogacar's going. There goes a sprint by Kubiš. Kopecky is... What is Kopecky doing? He's supposed to be in the wheel of Kubiš, not the wheel of Matthias Vacek. Oh my god. What an absolute disaster. I bottled it completely. That would have been a podium. I'm telling you. The winner is Maris Mikkels. I could have won this shit. Matthias, please, you had one job. Get in the wheel of Kubiš. But he chose the wrong wheel. That was a pretty painful final, but at least Kubiš got a top 10 in the end. We got something out of it. Ay. Let's forget about this and go to the next race. Next up is a big one. Our second monument of the season, the Ronde van Vlaanderen, the Tour of Flanders. Once again, a godlike start list. Tadej Pogacar, Mathieu van der Poel, Mes Pedersen, Wout van Aert, as expected. And ironically, I'm sending a worse team than Dwars Vlaanderen because Kopecky is not here. He's busy flying to Basque Country. So it's gonna be Samuel Watson and Lukas Kubiš with 75 sprint now, so I think he's upgraded. Anyway, I think top 10 in this race would already be a miracle. Oof, a -2 on Lukas Kubiš, so not the start I was hoping for. A 0 day on Watson, so 77 cobbles, 75 hill stat, maybe enough for a top 10, I hope. Lots of riders are trying to join the breakaway, including me with Hector Alvarez. Just want to get someone up there, you know? Wait a second, I just noticed that Schwarzbacher went up in stats to 75 cobble stat with a +2 on that, so 77 cobble. He's a co-leader. Just about halfway the race as we speak, and nothing's changed so far. Still 3 minutes from the breakaway to that peloton where we are sitting pretty chill for now, but we've got some important climbs coming, the Oude Quaremont and Paterberg, so maybe the race opens up there. And actually, before the Oude Quaremont, the breakaway is already getting caught with Alvarez in it, so that gap melted fast. Okay, there we go. Oude Quaremont is starting. Kubiš at the front on 95, that's a bit much, but now we got some moves by Vermeersch, Del Grosso, also Ambergmoes, but nothing from the favorites yet, which is good. I'm going to try and focus on staying in the peloton with as many riders as possible, but my riders are suffering so much. They are not built for this. Not built for the Tour of Flanders. And there come the attacks. Wout van Aert is going just before the Paterberg after the Oude Quaremont, so Country can keep on going towards the foot of that Paterberg, and we've got our team well positioned again, but this climb is gonna be a tough one. Let's take a look if my team can handle it. Van Aert has bridged towards the early attackers, and looks like nothing's happening on the Paterberg, so pretty much a dud. And there goes Van der Poel bridging to Wout van Aert. I'm not gonna respond to anything. I'll just sit up in the peloton and try and secure top 10 by playing the most passive race of my life. Looks like this might be the move though. Van der Poel, Pedersen, Wout van Aert and so forth all going right now. We are not too far behind in the peloton. Ooh, Kubish is done for, so I should have taken over with Zak Ertsen a bit earlier. Zak Ertsen still being here this far into the Tour of Flanders is a miracle. That right there in front of us, that is the first spot of the race. 10 riders up the road, so that's not great for a potential top 10, but hopefully some people there do explode. I'm sitting in the second group with Watson with the... he's the only rider with energy, to be honest. Schwarzbacher is protecting him, but he's almost done for. But our benefit is that Pogacar is still in our peloton, so his team, actually, never mind, he's not in our peloton anymore because he just closed the gap. And we are once again on the back foot. But actually, the race has come back together. Van der Poel, Pogacar, Wout van Aert are back with us, but now the Oude Quaremont is starting. I'm out of water, which is not great with 20 kilometers to go. I'm gonna try and... I don't know, I don't have anything. I simply don't have anything. I have no energy for this Oude Quaremont, and especially not for the Paterberg afterwards, so I think it's done for. And as you can see, by the end of the Oude Quaremont, we are completely dropped, so race is over. In the last 3 kilometers, the race seems to be between Van Aert, Pedersen, Van der Poel and Pogacar, so a monstrous edition. Van Aert attacks in the last 2 kilometers, that is very early. He's going to regret that, it's going to be Pedersen. I can feel it. Pedersen launches Van der Poel in the wheel, Pogacar in that wheel, but Miss Pedersen is winning RVV. What a victory, but I don't think that's happening in real life anytime soon. And here comes Watson over the line on 6 minutes 30 and I don't even know what position. Oh, Remco Evenepoel rode this race, finishing on 3 minutes. That's pretty cool. But Samuel Watson finishing in 35th, that's not very cool. We simply need a more versatile cobble rider if we want to compete in RVV next year. But hey, classics to the side for a second, because our next race is a stage race. It's Zulia Basque Country, 6 days, starting off with a 16-kilometer time trial followed by a sprint stage, and then what I think is a versatile sprint followed by a GC hilly stage, and lastly a versatile sprint before a medium mountain GC stage on day 6. Jonas Vingegaard is here for Visma Leasebike, and Remco Evenepoel flew overnight from RVV all the way to Basque Country to race this. Also Primoz Roglic for Red Bull, and both Isaac Del Toro and Ayuso for UAE. Honestly, a pretty stacked start list. But I still think we could be competitive with Ivan Romeo because the stages don't exactly have mountain finishes. And of course, the first 16-kilometer time trial, it fits us, so I want a podium in this stage. There we go, Romeo on the road. Honestly, I've ridden so many time trials of 10 to 20 kilometers in the last couple of days that I know exactly how to ride this. Because these time trials are not that short, you can't actually spend all your yellow bars, so it's all about gradually spending the red bar throughout the time trial. Turns out there's no intermediate time check in this time trial, so it's all about the one time at the finish. Passing time and Graad as we go into the final kilometer, trying to spend my red bar to the line here. There we go, Ivan Romeo, and fast time by 15 seconds, but some good riders still to come. Isaac Del Toro is getting passed by Remco Evenepoel in the final kilometer, so I think Remco's gonna destroy us, and he does. By 29 seconds, but we do finish second, so a pretty good time trial. Which means Ivan Romeo is in a beautiful second place in GC after this time trial. Gotta say, I love riding time trials with Romeo. But next up is a flat sprint against the likes of Tobias Lund Andresen, Nate Hadden, and then Matthias Kopetzky as third favorite. And I'm feeling ambitious, so let's try to win this. Starting this one off with a pretty nice +1 on Kopetzky, so a +2 on sprint, 76. That should be enough to be competitive. Considering there's no top sprinters here, I was kind of expecting for the lead out to go smoothly, but look at the amount of sprint trains on my screen. So many. Wow, 6.5 kilometers to go, somewhat chaotic. Noval, get out of the way, buddy, before this corner. We got NSHL on Kopetzky, it's too early, right. Now under the 5k banner, Mintegi's doing well, but Romeo's ready to take over. as soon as possible, we gotta find a way to get through. There we go, 3.2 kilometers. Romeo can launch right now with Serrano in the wheel. That's too early. That's too early. Let's switch back to 99. Let's switch back to launching. Serrano in the wheel. There he goes. Kopecky in that wheel. We've got a solid lead out last kilometer right here. We're having to go early, but there are some bends here. We're running out of energy, and we're gonna get passed by Nate Haddon on the line, a Jayco rider. Barenecha passing us as well. Yes, indeed. So a third place, but I could have won that if I timed my lead out better. Anyway, third place is still a podium, so not a complete disaster. Now, I was considering stage 3 to be a versatile sprint, but if that final climb is super steep, then it could also go to GC. Either way, Romain Grégoire is the favorite, so the game seems to think it's for punchers. Of course, if it's a versatile sprint, we are going for Matthias Kopecky, otherwise we're gonna go for Ivan Romeo. Gotta say, the climbs in this stage do look quite serious, and the final climb is quite steep, so I'm not that certain about Kopecky, especially with a -1 on the day. Ay, on the biggest climb of the day, and Kopecky is struggling to hold his position in the peloton, so I'm gonna have to spend some energy just to stay here. Okay, 40 kilometers to go, 2 steep climbs to come, and we are basically back at the front of the peloton with Kopecky, so that's nice, but his energy not looking fantastic yet. Wow, 22% is this next climb. Kopecky, come on, man. The best climb of your life, buddy. Lost quite a bit of energy, but we are making it over the top with Kopecky, actually in almost the best position in the peloton of our team, but actually a split happening in front of us, but I think some other team will close that. Gotta say, it's been a pretty chaotic race so far. The peloton is basically back together, but still a breakaway of 4 riders up the road with 20 kilometers to go. 2 minutes is the gap, so they are getting a bit dangerous. Okay, never mind. The final climb is coming and the breakaway is about to be caught by the tempo of Mintegi right now, so we're doing a Class A lead out for this climb. Noval in the wheel. Kopecky, come on, buddy. You gotta hold on, but his yellow bar is too little. There goes Romain Grégoire. We gotta try and follow that. Fernandez is ready to launch on. Let's do 99 because we gotta get to Grégoire with a proper gap right now towards the top. We've got Kopecky's gonna be done for. All that effort for Kopecky, but it ain't gonna happen. 99 with Fernandez. Go downhill, buddy, but I don't think we're gonna get to Mr. Grégoire anymore. I think he might take the stage. With about 3 kilometers to go, the gap is 20 seconds to Fernandez and Romeo doing the best possible lead out here. Come on. 2 kilometers to go. I'll launch my sprint with Fernandez as early as possible. We've got no choice. Romeo on the wheel can launch right now before this corner, but it's gonna be too late, I think. There goes Grégoire from the breakaway, or at least the attack, I would say, ahead of Kroon and Adria, and we're gonna finish in the group, but nothing more than that. All that effort to survive with Kopecky, but he's gonna finish on, well, at the back of the peloton. That was for sure not a versatile sprint. Oh, wait a second. Romeo finished in the first spot of the peloton right here with Grégoire, but Remco Evenepoel lost 35 seconds. And as a consequence, Ivan Romeo is now the leader of Basque Country. That's fantastic! By 6 seconds on Remco Evenepoel and 58 seconds on the likes of Ayuso and so forth, who I think also lost time then. Yes, Ayuso, Del Toro, Vingegaard all lost 35 seconds, so a perfect stage for us. Well, perfect outside of the fact that we didn't win it, of course. And that brings us to stage 4, once again a punchy stage, but the final climb, the Itzua climb, is notoriously steep, so that's gonna be a bit more difficult. Remco Evenepoel is the favorite, but my goal is simple: get over the climb in the first group, try to win the stage, and defend my lead. Let's do this. Oh la la, look at Mr. Ivan Romeo in the lead of Basque Country. That is beautiful with a +1 on the day, so 77 hill stat, 69 sprint. I like that. If anything, his 78 medium mountain stat might be more important on this Itzua climb, because it's not the shortest climb. Quite a few riders trying to attack into the breakaway, but I don't actually plan to go in that. I want to try and play defensively. I'll stay in the peloton and keep an eye on the gap to the breakaway. So 70k to go, most of the early climbs are behind us, and the gap to the breakaway is actually 5 minutes 45, so it's getting kind of big. So after this climb, I'll put Serrano at the front of the peloton right now on relay 85 and try and close the gap down. 25 kilometers to go now, just the Itzua climb left, and the gap is down to 2 minutes 30, so we've got it somewhat under control. Yes, technically letting the breakaway win does take bonus seconds away from my competition, but I think I can win this stage with Romeo, so I'm willing to take the gamble. There we go, onto the climb we go. Actually a pretty narrow road, so my position is not exactly perfect, but Noval is pacing 95, gap is down to 1 minute 30, but pretty solid climbers in here. Is that Carlos? No, it's Christian Rodriguez. We've got Romeo now moving up, hopefully, not really, so the break might actually still win. I'm over the top, and the peloton is still 40 seconds behind in a group of 30 riders, so actually 30 seconds, the gap is closing. I'm in the wheel of Remco Evenepoel, 4 kilometers to go. Can I make a move with Fernandez to get me to the front? That is maybe an idea. Let's try to do that. Fernandez, do a lead out, buddy. There we go, moving up, moving up. Let's try and get into the wheel of Quinn Simmons or Adria. I think Adria's really good at these versatile sprints, so I'll go with that, but actually Simmons has the better position. Let's see if the breakaway gets caught. I think they will. Last 1.7 kilometers in the wheel of Adria. Let's launch right now with Mr. Romeo. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Simmons went early and it looks to be successful. I'm trying to get towards him, but it's going to be a top 10 position for Romeo, which is fine. Simmons wins, Gregoire second, Mikel third, so no bonus seconds for Remco. That's good. But of course, I was hoping for a better placing than 9th, but hey, no time lost. Still 6 seconds on Remco Evenepoel and a minute on the rest. And on stage 5, I don't see us losing time either because, well, it looks like a versatile sprint. The game thinks Del Toro is the favorite, but I don't see it. Maybe I'm biased, but I think the favorite is Matthias Kopecky. Starting off with 75 hill stat on Kopecky. Sure, the last climb is quite steep in places, but he should survive. Actually, a pretty strong breakaway on the stage. We've got 4 decathlon riders in a group of 13, including Felix Gall, also Derek Jean here as well, but those riders are all on 5+ minutes. The gap to the peloton is roughly 3 minutes at the moment with 55 kilometers to go, so it is still under control. Starting the last climb as we speak, and I'm getting a little bit less confident that we'll catch the breakaway because the gap is still 2 minutes with 18k to go. Entering the last 10 kilometers, I'm pushing as fast as I can in this descent, but it's a minute 40, so I'm not feeling it. I think the break wins. But I might try a small team attack on this last bump because you never know, I can take time on my competitors. Here we go. There goes Mintegi over the first bump into the downhill. Now it's time for Fernandez to take over on all-out attack. And he goes as well. We've got Romeo and so forth in the wheel. Kopecky can actually sit up because we don't need to make it harder on ourselves than necessary. Serrano in the wheel too. Come on, all out downhill, buddy. We were on maintain position instead of effort cursor, but I'm still getting a gap here, so that is good. 15 seconds and this peloton is not exactly moving, so we will keep on going with Serrano and Romeo. Serrano can sprint already, why not? Romeo in the wheel. We've got a gap of 20 seconds and we've got Skelmos with us, so one GC rider. No stage win at all. That is for someone at the front. It is Ganzabal from Euskaltel? No, Ruiz from Euskaltel, a teammate. But we're going to finish with a gap on the peloton. A proper gap, because Romeo is actually sprinting away from this group as well. So what a day for Romeo. Not for the stage win, but for GC. Looks like we finished 11th with a gap of roughly half a minute on Remco Evenepoel. So that's great. In GC, we've now got 34 seconds on Remco and a minute 30 on the rest. So beautiful. And I feel like we're gonna need that gap on the final stage. Well, actually, it is a brutal medium mountain stage, but the final 30 kilometers look pretty digestible. Once again, the Itzua climb on the parkour being the second last climb. Remco Evenepoel, our main competitor, is the third favorite, but considering Ivan Romeo has a fitness peak, I feel like we should be able to do this. I think we can win Itzulia Basque Country, so let's go. Starting off with a +1 on the day, so 78 medium mountain, but I gotta make sure it doesn't become a unbearable breakaway. So Serrano, get to the front and control. Lots of riders try to attack, but it seems that a 7-man breakaway has formed, including Paul Sixas, which is the closest rider in this group on 5 minutes 37, so not the most dangerous breakaway, but I don't want any more attacks in the peloton, of course. Entering the infamously steep Krabbelin climb, this seems to be the final breakaway, so that is good news. Gap is about 2 minutes on the peloton and other teams are controlling, so that's great for me. By the way, I feel like the parkour of this final Basque Country stage has been nerfed a bit, because back in 2021, the final climb was the well-known Arate climb, and the third last climb was that Krabbelin climb we just had, which is so steep that it's the perfect launch pad early in the race, but now it's too early. It's the second last climb in the stage. So to be honest, I prefer the 2021 parkour. Anyway, 36k to go on the Itzua climb, and the peloton is 2 minutes 30 behind the breakaway, so that is under control, and I'm not doing any work, so I'm feeling good. Oh, over the top, an attack by Primoz Roglic on 2 minutes 12 in GC, and the peloton is somewhat chasing him down, so not too scared of that, but a ballsy move. But sadly for him, he's getting caught before the next climb, so what a bummer for Roglic. we've got our train set up, and I'll try to control the last 20k. Ooh, attack in the peloton by Romain Grégoire Vauquelin and also Ayuso, and Mintegi's right here with Romeo. What are you doing, Romeo? Why are you in Narnia? Get to the front, buddy. You've got one job, which is staying at the front, and right now you're getting gapped, buddy. Come on, Romeo, over the top. You're in the back of the group, but you are in the group, so that's a win. Mintegi is the only rider in the group. That is our teammate. Oh, gapped. Close the gap, Romeo. Close it. Right, buddy, right. Mintegi, wait for your boy. Gap is 20 seconds. We can't have this. We cannot have this. Last 5 kilometers. Why am I losing the race like this? Come on, Mintegi, bring us back, buddy. Bring us back. Come on. Back in the wheel almost. Yes, indeed. Romeo is back in the group, but we are out of energy. Can I get into the wheel of Remco Evenepoel? Let's do that. Come on, Romeo. Don't get gapped again. 2 kilometers to go. Just sprint. I don't know what's happening. I see the back of riders. Lots of people on the road. Ayuso sprinting against Vingegaard and Del Toro for the stage, and I don't care. I just care about being in the group, and I am, so we are winning. Itzulia Basque Country, the final stages for Mats Wenzel, but I nearly got a heart attack in the final 10k. With all the ups and downs, the final was stressful and chaotic, but in the end, Ivan Romeo steps onto the final podium, wins the GC of Itzulia Basque Country. What a W! Like when this race began, I was maybe hoping for a podium and the time trial was gonna help for that, but I did not expect Remco to lose 35 seconds on a versatile sprint stage. So our big boy, Ivan Romeo, wins Itzulia Basque Country for the second time in his career in 2025 and 2027. Despite our team winning 0 stages in this race, I'm pretty happy. Okay, time for the final race of this video, my favorite race of the entire season, Paris-Roubaix. A bit surprising, but Tadej Pogačar is the favorite over Mathieu van der Poel on this one. I think our leader is most likely gonna be Samuel Watson or Lukáš Kubík, but I must confess, I am terrified of this race. I think I'll be extremely happy with the top 10 at the end of today. I was hoping for a slightly better daily form, 0 on Samuel Watson, so 77 cobblestat, but he's not in a fitness peak, so I should not be surprised. I was considering joining the breakaway, but I don't feel like breakaways get very far in Pro Cycling Manager in Paris-Roubaix, so I decided not to. I think the key for us to ride our best possible race is to be as passive as possible and not react to favorites like Mathieu van der Poel and so forth. I know it's boring, but it is the way to go. I have to say, I absolutely love playing through Paris-Roubaix on Pro Cycling Manager because it gives me such nostalgia from when I started playing Pro Cycling Manager as a kid. Maybe back in PCM 2005 with Discovery Channel and Tom Bonen being part of that team? I don't remember exactly, but it was so much fun to play this game as a kid. What is the first race you ever played on Pro Cycling Manager? Drop it in the comment section below. Oh snap, punctures by everyone, Dizdarevic and Schwarzbacher, so I've lost my domestiques for Watson. Edson can do that now, but Schwarzbacher still seems to be in the group, so he can move back up. But now it's time for the big one, into the chicane, into Paris-Roubaix, most important sector, through Arenberg. Absolutely stunning. I've ridden this one once in real life myself and it was so dangerous. That said, it does seem too early in the race for any differences to happen in the peloton here, just punctures everywhere, but actually there's a small gap here and it is getting close, so that is good. Anyway, 70 kilometers to go, we see lots of tempo in the group here and a move by Lawrence Piffy, or is this pacing? Seems to be an attack. We are still chilling in a peloton of 97 people, but we are losing Alvarez and Schwarzbacher pretty soon, so Kubík can start protecting Mr. Watson on this one. Already down to 2 riders, so it's not looking good.
12 seconds later.
Wow, Kubík puncture, really? Down to 1 rider? Come on, get up, get back to the front group, but there are gaps, so we are behind with Kubík. But actually, Pogačar is in the same group and he's being brought back by UAE, so they are indirectly bringing back Kubík as well, which that is very welcome, and he's back in the group. There's lots of outsiders attacking, as you can see right here, including Jasper Philipsen, which might be more of a favorite these days, but I can't do that. Look at my energy, 57k to go, and I've got 25% of my yellow left. Now on a sector called Auchy-les-Orchies, and the big guns are going Pedersen and Silval, Van der Poel, Van Aert, so action is happening here. And in real life, I feel like this might be one of the most underrated sectors because favorites go here every year. But I fear this sector, a 5-star sector, Mons-en-Pévèle, might be the nail in the coffin for Samuel Watson because his energy is basically gone. I actually did Mons-en-Pévèle, Carrefour de l'Arbre, and also Truid-Arenberg in a unreleased video that will probably never see the light of day with Patrick from the Lantern Rouge Cycling Podcast. And sorry for interrupting, but Pogačar just crashed. I just noticed that, and he's back in the group with Watson, but I don't think he'll be able to bring us back. He's just gonna drop us, because we've got no yellow and no red. What I was trying to say before he crashed is that I actually think Mons-en-Pévèle is kind of overrated because it was a lot easier to ride than Truid-Arenberg and Carrefour de l'Arbre. A massive difference. And we rode it in torrential rainy conditions, so no excuses. Anyway, in case you still had any doubt, our race is completely over. But Tadej Pogačar is making a comeback, chasing down a 4-man group with Van der Poel and Van Aert, and Pedersen riding solo ahead of that. Pogačar still has a chance here. That's crazy. And 5k later, Pogačar has caught them again, but now Van der Poel is going solo with an immediate gap of 15 seconds with 20k to go. But on the final sector, Willems-Ahem, Van der Poel is getting caught once again by Tadej Pogačar. This is a super close race. But there goes a move just before the velodrome by Miss Pedersen, who seems to be out of energy. Pogačar flies past him together with Van der Poel in his wheel. Poggi might take it. After this insane comeback, they ride into the velodrome with the three of them, Van der Poel, Pedersen and Pogačar. The question is, who's gonna win? 1.5 kilometers to go, Tadej Pogačar in first position, Pedersen in the wheel. Has he been able to recover? Van der Poel comes on the right side of the road. Pogačar is still ahead, but it's gonna be Miss Pedersen coming through, maybe? I think he wins after RVV. Pedersen also wins Roubaix, and that is very much possible in real life. Like, it's not a hot take that it's unlikely for Pedersen to win RVV, but has a solid chance of winning Roubaix, right? Anyway, sadly, we finished in complete Narnia. 53rd place with Samuel Watson and 55th with Kubish. Let's forget about this race. I think our lack of results in the classics won't stop me from saying that this episode was pretty successful, thanks to Romeo winning at Zulia. We do move down one position in the World Tour ranking behind Trek now, due to Pedersen, but we're pretty much saving this, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, next episode we'll take on the Hill Classics, Amstel Flesh and LBL, and after that, Romandy. But all that is for next time. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.